it is time to introduce our next presenter. And before I do so, I'd like to correct myself and apologize for wearing dark shades, but this is due to the medical condition and I cannot take them off. So with that said, I hope you forgive me, and I'm going to present our next speaker, who is going to be Dr. Kelechi Ahanonu. He studied electrical and electronic engineering at the Federal University of Technology, IWRI, and conducted his postgraduate studies at Power System Engineering and Research on photovoltaics at the Technical University of Ilmenau, Germany. And he is a founder and a CEO of several organizations. One is the Human Voice, o.p.s. The second one is Rock Glen Ltd. In Zimbabwe. And the third one is Solaxis Ltd. Renewable energy companies with the branches around the world. He's also professor of power systems engineering in the Czech Republic. And the topic of Dr. Kelechi's presentation is learning and teaching skills by telling interactive stories. Please, Doctor.
Thank you so much for your very deep introduction. And thanks for apologizing for wearing sunglasses. Yes, we all tell stories. When you put on your television, you're hearing stories. When you walk around the street, you hear stories. And I'm going to share my screen and show you a PowerPoint, but I want this to be interactive, which means we are not going to only listen to me. I'm going to tell you some stories, and I would like to get your feedback. Everyone can see my screen? Yes, I hope. All right. Good. Why stories for learning? And why do we need to make it interactive? Let me start by telling you a story. One morning, a very beautiful girl was taking a walk along a river. And she was walking, feeling good about herself, singing, "I feel good." Out of nowhere, a frog bounced on her. She was trying to shake it off, And the frog spoke. She said, "Please, who are you?" The frog replied, "I used to be a German prince. Unfortunately, someone made me to be a frog. The only remedy is if you could give me just one little kiss. I will come back to the prince I used to be, and I will marry you, and you iron my clothes, you will cook for me, you will have babies for me, and you will be so happy you married a handsome prince like me." The frog paused. Kiss me, kiss me, kiss me, kiss me. Now my question is, do you think she kissed the frog? Open your mic and answer if you can. I'm going to choose Katarzyna.
Well, I think that she didn't kiss the frog.
Why?
I think that she chose to be happy without cooking, without cleaning the house, without housework. And I think that that it happened differently than in the fairy tale.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, I'll continue with the story. She took the frog home, looked at the frog, put it on the table kitchen, brought a bulb of onions, some garlic, chopped the onions, put on olive oil in the frying pan, and okay, let's leave it like that. The end of the story depends on the listeners or the audience. Another story I want to share with you is story of Perham. Perham, this story is written by Leo Tolstoy. Most of us know him. Why am I telling you these stories? Let's remember John Amos Comenius, the great teacher from Czech Republic. In his famous book, The Ability of a Great Teacher, he was talking about telling stories and teaching education should be fun and should be a joke, like games. The story of Leo Tolstoy about Perham. Perham is a very wealthy man, but he was not satisfied with his money. He needed more land. And one day, a friend came to him and told him, "Hey, Perham, why are you looking so sad?" Perham said, "Only if I could have plenty of lands." The stranger told him, "Just go across the Volga River." I think Volga River is near Russia. And the people there are not really very strict with their lands. For 1,000 rupees, you could get as many or as plenty of land as you want. Perham sold everything, moved to the Volga River, and he met the people there. And he told them his mission was to get land. They told him, "Here we don't sell lands. All you have to do is give us 1,000 rupees, and you walk around in a day. The land you couldn't circle becomes yours." I was like, "Really? Okay." He started off. As he was walking around, he was running, jogging, and he sees a piece of land that is very good for his tomatoes and potatoes. He took it. As he was running again, he saw an area that could be for feeding his cows. He went and took it. He took one piece of land after another until the sun was going down, and he realized the contract was to come back to the starting point. So Perham started running faster and faster, trying to get to the starting point. The people from the Volga River were looking at him. He got there. Everyone clapping for him. But you can guess what happened to him. And Tolstoy wrote, 6 feet below the ground. When we come to a point when we realize that we can plant a tree and not get the cover of the tree, then we begin to understand the meaning of life. It's an African proverb. And you could see my slide. The last story I'm going to share with you is from Sri Lanka. there was a family in Sri Lanka. They were so conscious, extremely conscious about caste, high class, lower class, middle class. And they wanted their daughter to marry only from a high class, although they had little money. One day they found a match for their young daughter to marry a high class man, a high caste man. And she did. This man was good for nothing. He neither helped her in the farm nor brought home any money. One day, her parents decided to visit her. They approached the house, they smelled wood fire. And they were like, yes, there will be some food. She invited them to sit down. They looked forward eagerly to have a hot meal. No food was served. They waited and waited, no food. At last, the mom went to the kitchen and she looked into the pot and she was surprised. Even though the girl was still staring, the pot inside, the spoon inside the pot, there was nothing in the pot. The pot was empty. She asked, "What are you cooking, my dear?" Quite confused, she replied, "We have nothing to eat, so I'm roasting the caste that you value so much." This is the conclusion of my storytelling. When it comes to telling stories, something we should bear in mind. There's a butterfly effect that operates in an integral system. An action in one place will definitely benefit or disadvantage another person in another place. It's scientifically proven. So nature demands balance. So humanity should know or should come to the realization that we are all interdependent and connected. And in which way we communicate, there's a great incentive to understand the connection in nature. Our mutual responsibility compels us to readjust the way we think about each other and how we interact. The future of the next generation depends on how we respect diversity and develop more effective methods of education. This will result in a more inclusive and interdependent society. I wouldn't like to continue with this slide, so I will stop it and tell you how we learn by telling stories. First, we need patience. Second, we need adaptability. And third, we need to persevere. And from time to time, when we're learning any skill, maybe computer skills or language skills, like we have many teachers here, or even quantum mechanics, we should bear these things in mind. First, we should be humble and sometimes allow ourselves to be treated like a child. And we should be patient. Just like an African chicken eggs, grain by grain. We don't see the grass grow, but they grow with time. And the last point is perseverance. You keep doing it and doing it and doing it until you learn how to do it. And how can other people help? Please, you should not do the work for the learners. You should guide them, let them learn by making their own mistakes and correcting them. And sometimes we get into a place where there is a plateau. Plateau is a table where you're learning and you don't see there is a progress. There are 5 things you could do. Number 1, find your initial motivation. Why you wanted to learn that skill. Maybe to help others, maybe to improve your job opportunities. And number 2, gauge your progress. It's good to be motivated, but if you see you're making progress, maybe you're learning how to design a website, and you're able to see that today you can write HTML files, and the next time you can put some video there, step by step, you learn. And number 3 and 4, I published my article, which you will see in the journal. Don't think we have much time for that. And I'm going to open the floor for questions. Thank you very much. Any questions from the audience?
Thank you, Doctor. I'm looking, refresh the document. So far, I'm not seeing any specific questions, but it would probably be, I'm an educator also, and there are many people who are educated. And so listening to a question came up in my mind, at least. How would you use the methodology with specifically with teenagers who have no patience today to listen to anyone for any stories or anything from the experience of their ancestors? Just generally, how would you apply storytelling with the present generation who has very little patience for anything? They can listen up to 30 seconds when an adult is talking. So what's your take on that? Thank you.
Thank you so much. It's a very good question. Actually, I didn't go into details about how we tell stories because of time. You have to know your audience. If your audience are children, and you know they have an attention span of a few seconds, you have to find a way to make your story shorter and make it very entertaining using gestures, body language, and maybe, not maybe actually, music is good. You could sing and they will like it. Most of like when we were at school, I learned the periodic table like a song. And I still remember all the elements when I remember the song, like he, ha, ho, with boys on Sunday, this and that. So there are ways we could impact. The most important thing is to make it funny, to be fun for children or for adults too. In my culture, if you're not a good storyteller, you may not get married. Any other question?
Thank you for answering. And let's see if I have any specific questions. It looks like they're still coming, so maybe they will appear a little bit later. Thank you once again for your engaging presentation and for your very beautiful slideshow.
Okay, thanks a lot. I wanted to make it a little bit more interactive, and I'm going to sing a song for you. And everybody, please, all you got to do is to repeat Unune. All right? So it's a story, but it's not in English. So translators, please bear with me. Abunwata nulanem. Then you repeat Unune. Abunwata nulanem Unune. Meweri ite gari kumiri unune. Akamato nito kwegi weputa unune. Ukumato nito kwegi weputa unune. Ununu no koko, unu no koko, unu no koko, unune. Right. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a nice day.
Thank you. You're a lot of fun. So I think that Dr. Kelechi's presentation concludes our agenda for today, but we're not finished. We still have a little bit of time. We have about 10 minutes. And we would like to dedicate this segment to the questions which our presenters didn't have a chance to answer. I'm going to take a look at the document once again because it keeps being populated with the questions, and I need to just bear with me, please. I'm going to see what questions haven't been asked. I hope that our presenters are still here, because the questions actually are coming in to the people who spoke in the beginning of the day. One of such questions, actually, we have several questions to Asher Tal. And if he's still here, Tal, are you still here? Are you willing to take some questions?
He's not here. Yeah.
He's not. Okay, then I'm going to skip those questions. All right, we have more questions for Katerina. I think Katerina is still here with us, right?
Yes, I am here.
Very good. So if you're willing to take a few questions, then these are for you. One question that we received from a YouTube channel is, how would you like to see your students in the future? I mean, the question is, what kind of people would you like them to see grow up?
Responsible, confident, reliable.
Thank you. And we have one more question from a different person, also from YouTube. This is the lady who asked the question previously, but she says that the translation was not very correct. And I'm going to read her question again. So she's asking, what do the children get out of this methodology besides the general education? How does it affect their position in society in the future?
I think it can be a similar answer like in the first one. So I think that kids in the future will be able to cooperate with everybody all around the world, will not afraid of go abroad and work abroad and make new friends, contacts, not only at work, but also to have friends all around the world who can motivate them to see another cultures. For example, through the language, they feel very well and good. Like Kelechi sang, I feel good, and they will work on the beach, and I feel good, and they will talk to other people from different cultures, and they will be open to see some problems of the world through cultures, and maybe there will be more polite to each other.
Thank you. Thank you for your answer.
Thank you for the question.
We have another question for Dr. Ahanonu. Actually, it just came in. And the question is this: how do you retain the attention of the audience? Do you have to have a talent for that, or do you learn how to do it? How do you retain your audience's attention, whether it's natural or it's learned?
It must be learned. It's like music. Some people are very good at it naturally, but you can also learn how to tell stories. Like, we all have children, and if you want your child to go to bed, you know the kind of fairy tales and sound you could make for the baby to be like in a dream world and fall asleep quickly. And if you're talking to people who are like mostly in a hurry these days, you have to make it very, every story must have a beginning, a purpose, and a conclusion. You can leave the conclusion open so that everyone can, like this frog story I told you, Katarzyna may not get it. Maybe the prince kissed the frog. The princess kissed the frog. and they got married and live forever happily. It depends on the audience. It depends on the people you're talking with. And you need a little research, a little homework to know the audience that you're going to talk with. If you're talking to people that don't like stories, you don't need to even tell them stories. You can play videos for them. Most of my children are into computer games, and we play computer games a lot. Like it's another form of telling stories. And yeah, you have to learn, but sometimes it comes naturally to some culture. And another thing is like when you tell stories, like I try to use a presentations just to make it look like modern, but you're not supposed to read the stories. You're not supposed to, you have to pretend like it's all coming from you instantaneously. Thank you.
Thank you.